You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious.
Serious about business.
Roper Cup, absolutely supremely important. Two of the greatest schools in Jamaica, meeting, sharing fellowship, always showing the current generation that you can be great rivals off the field, but even better rivals on it, you know. And it's really about us always showing the generations, Georgians, KC, Fortis. It's all about us giving back, all of us being mentors through sports. We always try our best to impart onto the boys values for life. So someone like myself, someone like the KC Old Boys, I'm clearly representing the better side of North Street. And we're really, really close across the road, so might as well continue the tradition and go forward.
The rivalry between KC and St. George's College has been around way longer than I have. Days of Sabina Park, which was kind of in between both schools, where the Royal Battle of North Street always took place. Over time, it lost a little of its flair, but easily we're getting back to those days now. As you see, the interest has grown significantly over the past few years. It is always important that there be harmony between the two schools. This has not always been the case over the years. The Roper Cup is a fun day. The Roper Cup is the day that St. George's College and Kingston College get to have fun in the sun with a competitive edge. It is always a good day. The Manning Cup match is always seen as the feature for the day, although I think the over 35s tend to have more of a competition going on. All the matches, it has been expanded now to include also our under 14 and under 16 teams, so it's an entire day of football. I don't think there are any two schools in the country that can boast the type of rivalry that Kingston College and St. George's College, being only 100 meters apart, can boast. It is always good competition, it is always fun, not only for the footballers but for us, the old boys, as well.
It is indeed my honor and my pleasure to welcome you to this media launch of Roper Cup 2019. This competition between Kingston College and St. George's College, North Street rivals and friends. With Kingston College hosting this year, a very special welcome to my colleagues from across the road. At this time though, I would like to call upon Mr. Stuart Jacobs, who is the president of the Kingston College PTA, to bring greetings from the Fortis family to everyone here.
A very good morning. It is once again a pleasure to stand there and bring greetings on behalf of KC to usher in another Roper Cup. In total, 37 Manning Cup have been won between Kingston College and St. George's College, 37. When you look at it, a quick math, it's close to a third of all the Manning Cups that have been played. And it is also, it's going to be somewhat of a phenomenon on Saturday, because the two finalists of last year's Manning Cup will be playing, basically opening the football season. Because with all of the other cups that have gone on over the summer, it is the Roper Cup that really kicks off the schoolboy football in Jamaica. No other event. I look around and I see people who have worked very hard and they have extended themselves as parents at both schools. Look at Mr. Latour, Donovan Germain, even Patrick Dallas. A lot of us, even Patrick Dallas, Dr. Foot, extended ourselves as parents. And it is events such as these that we live for. We live for these moments because it is where we sit and watch our youngsters do the things that God has entrusted on them, which is called talent. also, in order for them to do it, they would have to have coaches who we as parents trust to hone these talents. And by extension, a school will send them to have it happen. It just happened that Father Jack Roper, a Jesuit priest, coach at St. George's College, did extremely well and carried George's to a couple championship, and that school and KC came together and said, let's recognize him. And I asked it last year, and I'm going to challenge my Georgians to find, I did find someone who is still alive, who is related to Father Jack Roper, because posthumously, I think he should be honored next year when Georges host it. Because we use his name every year, and a lot of people, I know a lot of the players who are playing don't know who Father Jack Roper is. Father Jack Roper was a wonderful human being and did quite a bit at St. George's College, and for football in Jamaica, and for North Street. And speaking of North Street, I would like for us to do some sort of research, somewhat, to see which street in this country or anywhere else has produced the amount of sportsmen and superstars, both academia and on the track and on the field, than North Street. Less than 200 meters apart. And Kingston College and St. George's College have contributed so much to the landscape of this country. It's unbelievable. We will forever be grateful to St. George's College. And Kingston College, are speaking from the KC family, we will forever be grateful to St. George's College. Because out of St. George's College and the teaching of the Jesuits there, Bishop Gibson was honed and developed. But I guess after going to George's for 8 years, 7 years, he realized that Jamaica really needed another school, a real school. But on a serious note, we are always neighbors, we're always brothers, and we'll never ever forget what St. George's College has done for us. The Roper Cup does that each year. The Roper Cup takes us back in time. The Roper Cup brings us to a humility, a humble state, that regardless of the rivalry that we will have in the next couple of months for the Manning Cup, we will meet on a day and have friendly rivalry, and both schools will look at each other, the under 16, the under 14, and the present Manning Cup, and under 25 and over 35, and look at the past and enjoy it and appreciate it, and look at what is happening now, and hope that two schools will once again be in the finals at the Manning Cup. I wish for both schools all the best. I wish for the Roper Cup committee all the best, and from the parents of KC and the KC family, we are more than happy to host you on the day and look forward to a wonderful event. I thank you.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Principal sends her apologies. Unfortunately, she was unable to attend. Boy, so far so good. We've had such great deliveries from the Fortis Brethren, so we need to add some color to the proceedings right now. Right, so this year is an important year for St. George's. We celebrate 170 years of existence of our schools. I mean, Casey should know that very well, because Casey is half as young and half as good. So you should know that it's 170 years for us, you know. Now, also, on October the 18th, we celebrate our Monsignor Gladstone Wilson Awards. And for those of you who don't know, Monsignor Gladstone Wilson was, at the time of his being around on earth, one of the 7 most learned persons in the world, a Jamaican, a man of North Street, yeah? Definitely, we need to always celebrate that. So it is important, as Brother Jacob said, well, he said that, you know, we are going to be in the final, you know, so we hope that you come join us again like last year. I mean, so ladies and gentlemen, we always look forward to Roper Cup. It's a teaching moment for us where we can always show the young men that regardless of the banter, regardless of whatever we may say along the way, it really is about friendly rivalry and camaraderie. We know that persons traditionally don't attend St. George's College, don't attend KC, but they say, boy, KC is them side or George's is them side. Because they wish they could be like us. They want to be a part of us, so we definitely look forward to Roper Cup to continually show the wider Jamaica what it is to be, you know, a man for others, you know, never yielding, always being a Jamaican and living forward as a true testament of what we should do. So I thank you for having us. I thank you for being great hosts, of course. The Roper Cup is on top of our cabinet over by St. George's. I'll dust it off a bit and I'll put it back after the matches on the Saturday. All right, so cheers to all.
This bug of fake news has got to Jamaica. It has got here because if the Roper Cup trophy is at St. George's, when I leave here, I need to stop at Halfway Tree Police Station. But I think what might have happened, I remember there's a time, I think it was 2 years ago, we shared the trophy. And it was agreed that St. George's would keep it for 6 months and KC for 6 months. We said to George's, since we know that next year we're going to take it anywhere, so George's, please, you can keep it for the first 6 months. Bring it to us, right? And what has happened is that they did not bring it back, but I would have thought that Bishop Gibson, just Bishop Gibson's legacy, would have spared you from speaking like that this morning. Well, anyway, please polish it off. Yes, thank you. Right. And now to bring greetings and a message from the principal of Kingston College. Representing here this morning is Ainsworth Walker, our vice principal.
Good morning, all. Coming from the other side of North Street, I think I'm in a very good position to bring the message of Kingston College that will balance the rivalry that will make us all equal. You get that? It is indeed our hope that we will retain the excellent performance bestowed upon us from Bishop Gibson's days into today's finals. And so from the family of Kingston College, and especially the principal, it is our hope that this year will be no different from next year. And so, when the dust is settled and the trophy is returned from Roper Cup to Manning Cup, then Mr. Latour, you will have nothing to fear. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the principal of Kingston College, teachers, staff, and students, we're looking forward to a game that will bring us together and a future that we will all talk about. Thank you.
And now may I call upon the president of the St. George's College Old Boys Association to bring his greetings.
Thank you, Dr. Lalas. Distinguished Fortis, and my St. George's College brethren, good morning. This never gets boring. Every year we gather for the Roper Cup. It is fun, it is very serious rivalry, and I think Dr. Dallas made a very bold statement last year, which, by the grace of God, came true. The collaboration between Casey and St. George's College. Yes, Dr. Dallas? Yes, sir. Take a bow. Very bold at the time. Almost arrogant, I thought. Almost arrogant. However, like I said, it is what it is. After 32. But now that we've addressed the elephant in the room, now that the dust has settled, Roper Cup, year 1, Casey and St. George's College. I think probably the first time ever that it would be considered a grudge match. Yes? So not that we don't always have excellent football and even more camaraderie. When Casey hosts, for sure, refreshments are always on top. Of that we are sure. But more importantly, we've seen this year where the collaboration has expanded. I think this year, for the first time, we hosted a Labor Day project together as well, where we did the pedestrian crossings in front of both schools. So this is the type of camaraderie and harmony that we want everybody to emulate, because it really is important, given the ills that we see in our society today. So, Stadium East it is, Roper Cup for yet another year. It's almost cliche that we say we look forward to the camaraderie. And of course, this year in particular, Shantamoy, Nathaniel, Jaim. For this year in particular, extremely strong competition.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about Home Sweet Home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you.
It is indeed a pleasure to be here. I'm asked to make a presentation on behalf of the President. One of the things I'm happy for is that on previous occasions, I was normally introduced as the President, but thank God it has been corrected that I'm in fact the Vice President. I'm a bit nostalgic in that when I look in the audience and I see Neville Oxford, it brings back great memories to me, because I was much younger than Neville, as you can see. But the history of that year's Manny Cup team with Neville, John Parvis, Mouse Brown, Bola Morant, and the rest, it has been great joy to me. Because the rivalry from then was even strong and still strong. But ladies and gentlemen, after the match is over, we are great friends. And I really want to say to the youngsters now, please just remember that it is like that, and I want it to continue. Great rivalry on the field, but when the match is over, we are great friends. As I said, I was asked to deliver a message on behalf of the President, which goes like this. Last year, Roper Cup was a fantastic celebration for the North Street fans. It was a fantastic celebration of friendly rivalry and a feast of football talent, young and not so young talent. Of course, Casey took home the Roper Cup. We know that the Georgians are trying their utmost to regain the cup this year, but they can think again. However,
Roper will remain on the right side of North Street. His words. Once again, KC is pleased to the host of the Roper Cup, thanks to our North Street brothers for hosting a great event last year. This year we will be at Stadium East, a fitting venue, especially for future match between the Manning Cup teams, a replay of last year's Manning Cup final. It is also a preview of this year's Super Cup, Walker Cup, and Manning Cup finals. After all, we are looking to keep them all at North Street. The executive of the Old Boys is pleased to host this year's Rock Cup celebrations and provides an opportunity to deepen bonds and collaboration with our North Street neighbors, with whom we have a great history of competition and collaboration. We continue to demonstrate our ability to be rivals and friends at the same time. Importantly, thanks to our sponsors, as without you, the event would not be possible. Thank you for your support and example. RoboCup 2019 will be exciting and spectacular, and KCOB is proud to be at the helm of this amazing event. That is the message from the president of the Old Boys Association.
We have the under-14 match, Kingston College versus St. George's College. We also have the under-16 Kingston College versus St. George's. The under-35 and the over-35, of course, those have to be Old Boys because we're talking about Kingston College and St. George's. Then we have the feature match, which is the replay of last year Manning Cup final. The gates open at 9. We start the first match at 10. And we are going to run a tight ship this year because we have decided that the last match, the feature match, must start at 4:30. Understand, the football program in both schools costs a lot of money. The football, the sports program in general. And this is always, most of it is carried by the alumni associations. And so we are trying to get this started at 4:30 so that we can finish the match in good time and everybody see a full 90 minutes of Kingston College Manning Cup team versus St. George's College. But at this time, I would like to call on Mr. Robert O'Sullivan to bring a message on behalf of the sponsors.
Thank you, Patrick. There are 4 main sponsors that I'd like to thank. One is Facial Oral Surgical Association. Lasco, they've donated iCool. Servicare Limited, and apologies for absence, Gary O'Sullivan was unable to make it. Now, just to let you know, Servicare is less than 200 meters across the road there, and it was started by a St. George's College old boy by the name of Gary O'Sullivan. Now, when I was 11 years old, a friend of my mother said, so one of your sons passed for an academic institution and the other a sporting institution. Well, after a few years in the 60s, I couldn't understand why they referred to St. George's as a sporting institution. You know, it is good that corporate Jamaica can come together and assist in the development of young boys. It is so important. As a Kingston College old boy, I feel it important that as we leave school, we try to give back. And this to me is a message to the young boys who are from St. George's College and also from Kingston College. Now, I grew up with a rivalry for over 7 years between my brother from St. George's College, and he felt that I owed him a debt of gratitude because Bishop Gibson founded Kingston College. I had to live with that. But I do have some gratitude, and we have to accept that both institutions are important in Jamaica. A lot of my friends come from St. George's College as well, and we get along fairly well. Now, the sponsor, Facial Oral Surgical Association, I understand that one of the members is also Kingston College old boy. And one is a Georgian as well? Yes. So thank you for helping with the young ones. No? Now, LASCO, of course, is a competitor to Qualcare. But in the same way that St. George's College and Kingston College have friendly rivalry, it is the same between ourselves. No? Now, as Principal, it's a message from Principal Myrie, so correctly noted, extracurricular involvement, like football, go a far way in the development of young boys. It helps them not only in their physical development, but in their ability to analyze and come up with solutions. Now, in addition to that, I think it helps to build character, leadership, because at the end of the day, you want a well-rounded individual, not one who only goes to a sporting institution, but also academic. So again, on behalf of LASCO, Facial and Oral Surgical Associates, Cervicare and Qualcare, greetings, and all the best for the Europa Cup.
Being a part of this program is excellent for us because we're all about youth development, growth, and so we're all about going out, helping youths make their dreams come true and everything. And I mean, we're a fan of what KC has been doing, what St. George's has been doing with football and helping the young men do something with their lives. So we're all about helping. So we're here to sponsor.
For this Europa Cup, we want to make sure that everybody, their nutrition status is up and they're feeling fit as a fiddle. So just to make sure that they have no pains or no aches, we have our VitaloFlex will be, of course, persons will be getting, so to ease the pain, whatever it is from a sprain, whether it be just muscle spasms, they'll be able to utilize our VitaloFlex for that. No excessive burning, that's a lot of persons complain about, but they'll still get that nice feel and the relief from the pain, as well as our Interest Nutrition Shake. So we make sure that their nutrition status is up. At the end of the day, we want to make sure that everybody, they play well and their bodies are able to, you know, reflect everything that they have been consuming. So Interest being the nutrition shake of choice is for athletes for this Europa Cup. So their nutrition up, health up, energy up, everything up. All of it, Interest.
Why have we supported the Europa Cup over the years? It's a mixture of values that we endorse, traditional values. For one, tradition. It's the oldest running rivalry between schoolboys, the football, started in 1963. And it's important for us to recognize traditional values with what all that is happening around us. Virtue, honesty, truth and justice. Apart from the good quality football that is played, those two institutions from North Street, Kingston College and St. George's, we uphold those ideals, and over the years we have tried to transmit those qualities to the students coming in and out. So in addition to good quality football, which others are trying to emulate, but we are the originators and we'll always be the leaders. But in addition to good football and healthy sporting rivalry, we transmit those values which we hope will further itself into the wider society and build a good society.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
As the Atlantic hurricane season continues, the first major system made landfall in the Caribbean recently. We sympathize with our neighbors in the Bahamas and, of course, all those who may have been affected by the system. Inside the magazine today, we hear from the Meteorological Service about things to be mindful of during this season. Hi, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is Jamaica Magazine. The news is on the other side of this message. Stay with us.
Yo, this is We're committed to reducing the impact of disasters occurring in Jamaica. We're ever ready to assist you before, during, and after a disaster. But everybody have a role to play, so make we work together and follow the plan. Whether rich or poor or where you come from, hurricanes affect everyone, so be prepared. Prevention is better than cure. Be prepared. Listen to ADPEM.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, September 3. $20 million is being spent to renovate 5 wards at the Spanish Town Hospital in St. Catherine. These include wards 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The work includes repairs to ceilings, doors, and lightings, meshing and painting of wards, installation of ceiling fans and hand wash stations, as well as carpentry and masonry work. Chief Executive Officer for the hospital, Dwayne Francis, tells JIS News that funding is being provided by the Southeast Regional Health Authority, SARA.
It is at an aim to improve the aesthetics on the wards and take the opportunity to address any infrastructural challenges that may be on the ward that we could not have done prior to having our ward being empty.
Mr. Francis says Ward 3 was reopened just last month following renovation activities. 700 farmers from Manchester and St. Elizabeth will receive Global GAP certification training under the Essex Valley Agriculture Development Project. This certification will indicate to consumers that crops being produced on the farms are healthy and safe for consumption. It also signals that the farmers have adopted environmental best practices. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Dermot Spence, says this certification is critical to the sustainability of the agriculture sector.
The standard was developed to ensure that farm produce meets the relevant international food safety standard. It includes produce handling, integrated crop management, integrated pest management, quality management systems, hazard analysis, critical control point, and also covers food traceability. And it is also said that certification will enhance export opportunities.
Mr. Spence was speaking at a stakeholders consultancy meeting hosted by the ministry on Monday. Training for the farmers and other stakeholders will begin this month. Upon certification, the farms will be listed on the Global GAP online database, a platform for validated farm data on food safety and sustainability. Global GAP is an internationally recognized set of farm standards dedicated to good agricultural practices. A national school leaving certificate program will be rolled out this academic year by the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. Under the program, all students who successfully complete their secondary education will be awarded a certificate. This certificate will be more expansive than the school leaving documents currently provided by individual institutions. It will document the students' competencies developed over the 7 years of high school from grades 7 to 13.
Each certificate will be unique to the student. It will reflect the student's behavioral competencies, performance in internal and external examinations, as well as involvement in sports, social and cultural activities. So here we are broadening the scope of the student who receives this certificate.
To receive the National School Leaving Certificate, students will be required to pass mathematics, English language, and at least one skill area, and complete 8 weeks or 320 hours of work experience. Students must also complete at least 7 years of secondary level schooling to receive the certificate. At any other stage, the student will receive a report or a transcript. Also within this academic year, government plans to complete the National School Nutrition Policy. The policy aims to promote healthy eating and physical activity in schools and outline the recommended nutrient standards for meals, snacks, and beverages. It also supports the ban on certain types of sugary drinks in schools, implemented by the Ministry of Health and Wellness in January.
We support the drive by the Ministry of Health, and we are sincerely making an effort to support that policy for the betterment of the health of our children. The ministry is also now working directly with the concessionaires to ensure that they are supporting for students to be fed 5 days a week.
Minister Samuda was speaking at the Ministry of Education's annual back-to-school press conference recently. He said the policy would be submitted to Cabinet for review and approval. Meanwhile, children at the Mount Olivet Boys Home in Walderston, Manchester received well-needed back-to-school supplies and valuable career talk ahead of the new school term. The Jamaica Information Service, along with sponsoring partners, made the presentations during the agency's annual back-to-school visit and career day at the home on Saturday. The youngsters were given school bags, notebooks, pens, and a wide assortment of other supplies.
JIS, I want you to understand, so you're present at Mount Olivet and your commitment, it is paying off.
CEO of the JIS, Donna Marie Rose, says the past 10 years of sponsoring the home has been rewarding.
Corporate social responsibility is very key to all of us here as a core value. And usually we talk about giving back and paying it forward. Without corporate support, we wouldn't be able to do it on our own.
And finally, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has pledged the government support for the people of the Bahamas in this difficult time. The country was hit on Sunday by Category 5 Hurricane Dorian, causing severe flooding and damage to infrastructure. Mr. Holness says the government understands that the damage has been extensive. He's encouraging persons to continue to pray for the people of the Bahamas in this time of great tragedy. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.
We turn our attention now to the Office of the Prime Minister to catch up on the happenings of the past week.
$19.5 million contract signed for road development in eastern Jamaica, St. Thomas and Portland to benefit from water system upgrades, and
we will not sit down idly in taking steps to mitigate the crisis our planet is facing due to climate change.
Your government is working.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness last Monday as he signed a contract to develop roads in eastern Jamaica. Worth $19.5 million, the agreement will see to the upgrading of the thoroughfare between Harbour View in St. Andrew and Port Antonio in Portland. The work is being done in phases over 3 years under the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project. Local contractors will be carrying out the roadworks with supervision coming from developers China Harbour Engineering Company. Once the road infrastructure is in place, the Prime Minister says plans are in place to begin the development of housing solutions in the area.
So the government is going to be moving with the NHT and the National Housing Agency to start developments on lands that we own there or have intentions on. And we call on developers to start looking now to the east to develop the lands that are now made viable.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness gave assurance last week that his administration has no intention of dissolving the National Works Agency, NWA. That confirmation followed a news report which suggested that he was planning major changes for the agency. Clarifying the news item, Mr. Holness said he had instructed the NWA to improve its service delivery to meet the increasing number of road infrastructure projects that were underway or set to begin shortly. He added that the agency would have to step up its supervision of contractors who are hired to carry out road construction works across the island.
We can't close down the NWA, but we can change how the NWA operates.
While the National Works Agency is making changes, Cabinet has asked the new Procurement Authority for a policy outline which will guide the introduction of performance management contracting.
We know of several contractors who have work. They don't finish. They don't complete it on time, but yet they come back into the process. So there must be a way within the procurement process in which the past performance of contractors feature in their ability to get future work.
Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Darrell Vaz, says residents of St. Thomas and Portland will benefit from upgrades to their water supply systems. Those improvements are to be done simultaneously with the road infrastructure projects to begin in eastern Jamaica later this month. The minister says funding has already been secured.
It means that where there is water, but it's not in the pipes will be run to facilitate the water getting to the communities and the households. And most importantly, where there is no water, provisions will be made to be able to pipe water to communities off of the main thoroughfare that are not getting water at this time.
Still at Jamaica House, the Prime Minister led his cabinet in its first meeting since the summer recess. He used the meeting to get an update from the Jamaica Constabulary Force on traffic management plans for the start of the new school year. Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson informed that plans were in place to ensure smooth traffic flow. Prime Minister Holness says a similar meeting will be held with the National Works Agency. The Prime Minister was also in St. Catherine last week, where he broke ground for Phase 4 of the Twickenham Glades housing development. Astrum Building System has been contracted to build 110 two-bedroom single duplex units at a cost of $1.4 billion. The project is scheduled for completion in 16 months.
And this will include civil infrastructure such as roadways, a stormwater drainage system, a potable water distribution network, sewage system, and a boundary wall with restricted access and a guardhouse.
Back at Jamaica House, Prime Minister Andrew Holness chaired a meeting of the National Security Council (NSC) and assured members that the new Bail Act would be submitted to Cabinet this financial year. The Act will provide guidance on the grounds to keep persons in custody without being charged for major criminal offences. The Prime Minister also took time last week to meet with founder of the I Have a Heart Foundation, Abigail Smith. The meeting is a follow-up to a social media conversation between the two recently. Prime Minister Holness lauded the 26-year-old for starting the foundation, which aims to promote, educate, advocate, and increase heart disease awareness on the island. Ms. Smith suffers from the rare heart disease arrhythmogenic right ventricular dysplasia, ARVD. And finally, Prime Minister Holness paid tribute to the passing of two of the nation's icons, Dr. Ken Baugh and Samir Yunus, both of whom died on September 1. The Prime Minister hailed Dr. Baugh as a statesman and true gentleman of politics who exemplified dignity and integrity throughout his public life. He similarly recognized Mr. Yunus as a nation builder, calling him one of the country's great developers of industry. And that's how we close out Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for more of the news stories coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister.
Hola, how you run go?
Well, I'm there, I work for the fitness, man. No, the fitness, I'm a care fitness, man. I'm paying a tax officer.
Oh, but you don't have to run, man.
Oh, respect.
No, man, you mean you don't have to go in there, man. You can pay vehicle fitness online.
Yeah?
Yeah, man, TJ, make it easy for you now. You know, so we don't have an excuse.
Yeah?
Yeah, man. Respect, man. Hey, you still have to work on your fitness going on.
I'm going to deal with it online.
Transformation is happening across the public sector. Many services are now available online.
we are building a better public service for all. Brought to you by the Transformation Implementation Unit.
The prediction of the hurricane season is an important part of disaster preparedness here in Jamaica. Every year, the Meteorological Service and other relevant agencies collaborate to plan and execute activities that will decrease the likelihood of severe damage. Take a look.
Jamaica, based on its location in the Caribbean basin, is at a position that is vulnerable to the eventualities of a hurricane season. Basically, we are expecting a normal, near normal season. It could go a little above, it could go a little before. What we are projecting is that we will see somewhere between 9 and 15 tropical storms developing. 4 to 8 of these will become hurricanes. That's what is expected. And out of those, we could see 2 to 4 being major hurricanes, meaning they will reach category 3, 4, or 5, creating significant catastrophic damage to the island's infrastructure. We really just have to prepare ourselves for anything that could happen. And these are the numbers that we see here.
The National Works Agency's preparation for the 2019 Atlantic hurricane season has been ongoing. This is evident in the nature and scope of works that the agency has been undertaking island-wide over the last year or more. Just recently, approval was granted for the commencement of works under the GOJ's 2019 Pre-Hurricane Mitigation Program. This involves primarily drain cleaning and debushing activities. The program is the first and one of 3 routine drain cleaning activities which the NAA will undertake during this hurricane season. The agency will carry out maintenance on our drain network during the course of the upcoming 6 months. And as I said earlier, we'll do it in 3 tranches. A total of $99.5 million have been allocated amongst MPs to undertake works in relation to the unclogging of drains and the desilting of channels where their constituents live, work, play, or do business. Where our major projects are concerned, the focus is more on improving existing drainage features as well as having new ones constructed. Extensive drainage improvement works are being or have been carried out along the Mandela Highway, Barbican Road, Hagley Park, Camp Road, work is also taking place there, Constant Spring Road, as well as along the 12.6 kilometer stretch from Ferris to Macfield over in Westmoreland.
ODPEM, as Jamaica's disaster agency, is the heartbeat of our efforts. I urge every Jamaican to pay close attention to its messages and act in accordance with them. The warnings and encouragements to prepare and to better manage our immediate environment should not be seen as a nuisance.
We wish ourselves the best. We wish all of you the best. We wish our Caribbean neighbors the best. As we go through this hurricane season, all of us are vulnerable and all of us need to watch each other's back.
Don't let the heat beat you down. Extremely hot days can affect your health, causing heat stress and heat stroke. Protect yourself. Seek sheltering from the sun and limit outdoor activities to mornings and evenings. Wear light-colored, loose-fitting, breathable fabrics. Hydrate with cool water and avoid sweetened drinks and beverages that contain alcohol. Don't let the heat beat you down.
Once a tropical system starts to pose a threat to the region, and our island in particular, the Met Service takes certain steps and begins to issue severe weather orders. Find out more next.
Tropical Storm Hugo has been upgraded to a hurricane and is expected to impact Jamaica. A hurricane warning is now in effect.
Wait! Did you know there are a few steps that have to be taken before a hurricane advisory is issued? Once a tropical cyclone has formed in the Atlantic or the Caribbean, the Met Service monitors it and puts plans in place in the likelihood that the system will affect Jamaica.
Hugo, we required additional staffing, especially for
These include increasing the number of technical staff working at the National Meteorological Center and the number of upper air observations daily, and ensuring that the weather and technical equipment in the office are fully functional. They are in constant dialogue with the National Hurricane Center in the United States, which provides regular updates on the system. Once the Met Service does an assessment and determines that the system is a threat to Jamaica, the following will unfold.
Yes, Prime Minister Holness. Yes, Evan Thompson here from the Met Service. I'm really just calling to update you on the situation with Hurricane Hugo. It continues to move closer to the island, and so we believe that it will be necessary for us to move to that hurricane warning. So we're just making sure that we have your approval.
Then?
Hello, yes, hurricane specialist, please. Hi, how are you doing? Evan here again from Jamaica. Right, I've just spoken with the Prime Minister. He's in agreement that we go to the hurricane warning by 5 o'clock this evening. That's correct.
The National Hurricane Center publicizes this information internationally, and the Met Service prepares and sends bulletins to the local media. And that is how we get here.
A hurricane warning is now in effect for the island.
And as the country prepares for the weather system, the Met Service continues to play a critical role in the country's disaster readiness, providing information to the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management and the local government ministry. These entities use this information to determine which areas on the island should be evacuated and where shelters should be opened. That's not all. The Met Service also works closely with the Coast Guard to evacuate fishermen at sea, on the Keys and Banks before the storm hits. That is how the Met Service keeps Jamaicans in the know so that they can better prepare for any severe weather system.
As vibrant and diverse as our people, so are the rhythms that guide our movement. And as far back in our history as you can go, you'll see that the drums have been a vital part of our musical story. That is why one cultural agency is working to preserve this part of our identity by incorporating young hands. Take a look.
Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to Drumfest 2019. We are here for Drumfest. This is the premier section for drummers. It's equivalent to the national finals just for drummers. We wanted to improve the standard as well as get more persons involved in drumming and to see, the part it plays in our culture. So we had that Drumfest separated, and once it started, there was no turning back because it caters to a different audience than national finals for instrumentalists and vocalists. Each year it's getting larger and larger. We have a total of 42 competitors, well, 42 competitors in terms of schools, but of course for the ensemble presentations you have, you can have up to 14 persons in a group. We are talking about mostly our young people. We're talking about primary schools, prep schools, high schools, community groups all over Jamaica. We even have semi-professionals who enter the competition. We have some teachers of drums who also group up and enter. We have congas, we have djembes, we also have even the trap sets. We have all types of drums, African drums, Jamaican drums, and we have the auxiliary instruments that we use as well, maracas, we have cowbells. Check our history. From as far back as you can think, our African heritage and drumming. You say drum, you equate that to Africa. So we find that our students naturally, Jamaican students naturally gravitate towards drumming. They play syncopated rhythms just casually. They don't even realize how technical it is, and they don't understand really that what they are doing is not as easy as they think.
We basically come here to just motivate the kids and let them know that good drummers are here that they can learn from and they can actually have a career from this. Most people might not know, or most people might think that you can't have a career from our kind of music, which is hand drumming, but that is not so. Because if you take a look at, for instance, Chronixx and Kabaka Pyramid, they have 2 percussionists on their band.
For me, it's just a way to express how I feel. When you come home from, or when you leave school in the afternoon, you go drum rehearsal, feel good about yourself, release out of stress, and just a way to express yourself creatively and stuff. We've been to a lot of embassies with RD drummers. I really like it because I get to go places and meet a lot of people that are very important. Different experiences, they go all over Jamaica. It's just fun. It's a whole lot, it's a brotherhood because I'm not the only girl. Well, not really the only girl, but there are not a lot of girls. I play djembe, but if we're doing Jamaican rhythms, we play Jamaican drums like congas and stuff.
I also teach it in Ensom City Primary School, and the whole school want to join. Everyone put their hand in the air. Sir, me can play now. Look here, me can play now. Like, that's great, motivating and encouraging for us.
I like music and I want to do it in my career. I like that the sounds of the rhythm them and the type of songs I play with the rhythm.
It's nice to play, it encourages me and everybody else and feel the vibes and everything.
We would really want to make it bigger and better. We would want to have better prizes to give to the performers. They have worked really, really hard. And yes, we know they will be getting, trophies at the end, but we have others who are also excellent that we would want to give incentives and so on. So I see the competition going there.
We've come to the end of the show for today. Catch us again tomorrow, same time and same place. As we go, be reminded to send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. You may also connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
My name is Herbert Chung, Executive Chairman, Honeybun 1982 Limited, co-founder.
I'm Michelle Chung, CEO of Honeybun. Well, Michelle Chung is first and foremost a Christian, and of course we always give that first. And then I'm wife of Herbert Chung, who is my partner in the business, and we have 4 children. So those are the things that first of all define me. I'm from Kingston. I was born in Kingston. I grew up in Kingston, and I went to Mona Preparatory School. I then went to St. Peter and Paul High School, which is now Campion. A lot of people nowadays don't know that, but at that time it was a girls' school. I remember myself as being a quiet person, very quiet. I always wanted to be a teacher, always wanted to be a teacher. In fact, when I came into the business, I recognized that I can teach her too, so that made it good for me. I have 3 sisters, and when I was about 15, I have a brother. So my brother was born at that age, and my sisters and I were regular family. Mother and father were there. My 2 grandfathers are from China, actually, and my 2 grandmothers are Jamaican, mixed to Jamaican. So it makes me very mixed. When my brother was born, I was 14 years older than him, and I took on a very motherly role. So that was inherent in me. I think the whole teacher and mother thing were significant in my childhood.
I was born in Westmoreland, which is, at then was really a lovely parish. It was like maybe a pageant place. You're really, rich in the sense of growing up with a lot of friends and people around you, and out there was really, it was the farming belt, sugar estate belt, so you had a lot of all different kind of people you grew up with. It was far from school as how my parents wanted their children to go to school, because apparently, I don't know what they had in their mind, but I'm from a family of 7, and apparently my parents wanted all 7 to be at 7 different schools all over the island, so it was, and I ended up had to come to Kingston. I went to Campion College, and at that time, Campion College was a private school, just being adopted in the government system, but you still had to do another exam, even though you're passing for government scholarship, that a government aided scholarship, but you had to do another exam to enter Campion too at the time. I remember independence. Independence stand out quite a bit for me because my mother was involved a lot with independence, and I remember, I don't know if you know that Great George Street in Sablamar. If you know the street, if you've been there, was supposed to have been the widest and largest street in Jamaica, even bigger than King Street, as though King Street name says King, but Great George Street was actually supposed to be the biggest street in Jamaica. So, and I remember that street being decorated with banners and flags and things like that. That took months to really sew them, because, yeah. And my mom was a big part of that.
One moment from my childhood that really stands out was my understanding of poverty. I remember there was a lady who came to our gate. I was quite young at the time, and she was begging money. And it was kind of like a first experience of someone really in need, because I didn't grow up in a situation where I was surrounded by very poor people. And I really had a lot of compassion for her. And I remember I went and I gave her almost all my savings at the time. So it has stayed with me all this time. And I think maybe I always think that that's where my blessings come from. So that moment stands out. I lived in Canada for about 5 years, going to university there where I studied psychology and studied math as a minor. Being in a Canadian environment was new, cold, very cold. Dying to come home, standing at that bus stop every day waiting on the bus was difficult. But it gave me a sense of understanding global concepts about transportation, order, business systems. I did a temp job which included working in the hospitals, working in the banking industry. So I got a number of different experiences working in different places, which really benefited me.
After campaign, I went to, CAS, which is now UTEC, and did, I was in construction. Started business, but my family was in also construction, so I figured that maybe best someone knew something about construction. So I went over to construction. And then after 2 years of that, going into the third year, the exodus or migration started that I had to go. And the one-way ticket is a serious one-way ticket. There's no ticket coming back. You know you're leaving and you're not coming back. That's what it was like. So maybe one day, I don't know if it ever happened, that you have to buy a ticket when you're traveling and you buy a one-way ticket and know that wherever you end up there, that's where you're going, you're not coming back. I mean, maybe for holidays, yes, but yes, migration is something, although it's a great experience, that it's something that has maybe helped mold me as a person too also. But it's like a whole, it's like a degree, a university degree, how to do it, you know. It's hard. You're growing up with all your friends, you know, and then you just have to just pick up and leave. Going to Canada was a whole new ball game of experience for me, because I took on a lot of responsibility going to Canada, a lot.
Violence is bad. Violence against our innocent little children is terrible. Pretending not to notice when we know or suspect that a child is suffering is awful and morally wrong. In the words of the great Nelson Mandela, there can be no keener realization of a nation's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Think about that for a second. I have a voice. It's one of my gifts. I intend to use it on behalf of our children. No more violence against our children. Make your move to stop violence against our children right now. No more. No more. No more.
Going to Canada was a whole new ball game of experience for me. Like we had to stop in Miami first, and buying some clothes. We never know how cold Canada was going to be. And then reaching Canada is something else again, you know, where it was just myself and my brother, who were not married at the time. And the usual Chinese custom is when the parents or family is moving, who is not married, you usually, you know, migrate or go with the family. Everybody else had their own priorities in terms of their family. So going to Canada still, you know, was a big experience for me. And it has, I think it has made me who I am still. Because I took on a lot of responsibility going to Canada, a lot. Mrs. Sean came into my life at a very at a very sad and opportune time for me still, you know, because I met Mrs. Chung after my father died, about 2 or 3 months after. And my father and myself were there. I mean, you know, I really got close to my parents and my father, you know, for the time I've been in Canada. And he used to help me with I had a business there also. You know, he used to help me quite a bit. And when he died, I decided I'm going to have to, this is enough for me now. I have done what I have to do for my family and move on. And I was taking a break when I met Mrs. Chung. It's about taking a break in the sense that I wanted to give up what I was doing and start a whole new life, you know. So, yeah, that's when I met Mrs. Chung. So it was an opportune time for me meeting somebody like that.
So here were these 2 Jamaicans in Canada, and we met. And after a while, he decided he wanted to come back home.
I had to come back to Jamaica, and she was there for a while. And then after I realized that, yes, it's time, you know, spending enough time in Canada, almost 8-10 years up there, and I decided that Jamaica is where I wanted to come back. And when I left, and those years, you know, there's no text and write, and there was a phone call, but they were very expensive in those times, so we had to write letters. So I decided that I had to get on a plane and go do what I had to do, and decided to tell her that I'm coming back. I am back there for her.
When I returned to Jamaica, my husband and I both returned to Jamaica. We weren't married as yet, but before we were married, I taught at Campion College. For a very short time, I taught math. I absolutely loved that period of my life when I was teaching. I was teaching 2nd and 3rd form math, and it was very rewarding. It was during my teaching years that my husband and I purchased Honey Bun, and we started to manage it, so I had to leave my teaching job.
So after I decided that we're coming back to Jamaica to live, well, a lot of people have always asked me to start a pizza business because pizza was very new to Jamaica at that time, you know. I think I came back just before Shakey's started, who was another franchise that came here. But so I knew the pizza business. Honey Bun was a pizza place at the time. We sell quite a bit of pizzas. So I looked into the company. Well, I also knew the people who had owned the company, and they had a number of companies that they were working with, and I think they were just a little tired of Honey Bun because it takes a lot of hands-on work to be there all the time, you know. So how it got started is when I came back, got married, and then my wife was teaching at the time. So I did what I had to do in terms of loans and everything, and got myself together and purchased the company.
So we bought Honey Bun, borrowed some money, bought Honey Bun, and at the time he said he needed me to come and work in the business, and you know, the natural Chinese Jamaican, that's a natural progression. So we were both working in Honey Bun. And the thing about it that was very interesting at the time was we discovered that we had a very different approach to how to manage the business. So it was at that time that we kind of separated and joined together and conquered, because he used his strengths and I used mine. And thank God they were different, because I think that has contributed a lot to our success. I had a lot to learn in a very short period of time. I remember going to my accountant and learning how to write up cash books, manual cash books. Now we have Quicken and we have all sorts of accounting systems. Do the payroll. So those were challenges in and of themselves. But I always loved math, so they weren't too much of a challenge. And there were just several challenges. I remember one day we took an order for a wedding cake, and the decorator resigned just before the wedding, and I had to learn quick, just like Matrix, quick, how to decorate wedding cakes. So there were lots of challenges wearing different hats. You had to be everything in this new business. You weren't like the accountant for the business. You were just everything for that new business. You had to know how to make the pastries, manage staff. You had to learn about the equipment. So it was a lot. It was a lot.
It was some of the biggest challenges from the time of Honeybun. Myself and my wife having Honeybun is finding a home. We have always rented place. And every time we rent and we start to settle in, we have to move. So it took us, I would say, it took us maybe 20 years before we could, 20-something years before we could buy our own place. And we always keep on renting and moving, and we always have to move. Something happening where the people need the place. But that has always been a major challenge for us, having a home. Now it's a little different now. We have found a home. When we just got this company, I had some family in England who, I remember he was telling me, and he was quite a bit of a marketer in England at the time, and he said, "Boy, the name is such a nice name, Sometimes I feel the name is sort of soft in the sense that honey and bun, but let me tell you, the company, it has grown in the sense that people, it's a household name as it is now, and we really have worked on it. The entire family has worked on it.
Honeybun is truly now a family business. It started off as a family business with my husband and I, but our daughter worked in the business in marketing for several years. That's Crystal Chung. And now 2 of my sons work in the business. One manages operation and the other one manages distribution and sales. And they are very different. They have very different skills again. So that also helps the business a lot. What I do hear a lot from our workers is that they feel like this is a family. They feel a part of the family. You have some workers who they call Chung. So it's a family business, not only for the children working in the business, but I think there's a family feel here all the time. And we enjoy that, and we've really hung on to the hope that as the business grows, the culture remains. And it has. I challenge you to ask some of the workers. It's still a very family feel. The first obvious thing that a family business contributes is succession and succession planning. So you have children who grew up in the business. I remember at 12, some of my children had to come down here when we just put in a night shift, and I was like, okay, now we need you to make donuts, and they never forgot it because they were like, really? It's like, yes. The staff didn't want to start working on night shift. It was new. Not many companies in Jamaica were doing it, but we had to increase our capacity base on our demand, and the children, we rounded them up, we rounded up some of their friends. So they have been integrated in every aspect of the business, and unlike me, they won't have to learn everything from scratch when they're in their early 20s. So the succession planning is a significant part of it. What they can take for granted, knowing in the business, someone else can't take it for granted. They also have been a part of very high-level business meetings that they would not have had the opportunity to be involved with working in another company. So we're not trying to indicate that they must be the future leaders of the business, but they know that's a real option for them. And then when the company went public, it was also a part of succession planning, because it is a lot better to have sound governance and a formal board in a business for it to survive than to just have children who may make up new rules and have different policies that they want to change. So the business of the family in a structured business has been tremendous for us, and it will carry us far in the future. What drives me has a lot to do with being very focused. If you ask people who know me, I'm very focused. I have a dream, and it's like I don't sleep.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
I'm Usain Bolt, the fastest man in the world, and you're watching Business Access.
The proudest I've been at the company, I would say twofold, in the sense that when we bought our first property for the factory, that's one, and also when we went on the stock market. I was a little nervous at the time because, you know, you sort of, when you're on the stock exchange, you know, like I say, your books are open and everything, but we being, the family being upfront with everything, we didn't think about that anymore. We just went forward, and it has been very good for us in terms of branding and the rest of, you know, the exposure we have gotten and things. And you never believe how much things happen, you know. Banks call, no, before you used to call a bank, banks are calling you now to lend you money and things like that, you know. So it's a little different.
What drives me has a lot to do with being very focused. If you ask people who know me, I'm very focused. I have a dream, and it's like I don't sleep. I just need to keep dreaming and finding the ways in which to accomplish my dreams. And sometimes I have to shuffle and come again. So I'm always motivated because I'm always focused on the big picture, always.
To see the family getting together, and not only the family, but the people at work who every day they see you and we talk, and we you know, just moving around them and seeing that their livelihood, they have a livelihood too. They can go home and they can you know, they have a job. And you know, the company growing in the sense that sales and everything else growing with the company. That drives me quite a bit.
I've probably gotten a lot of advice, but I'm also told I'm a little bit stubborn. So while I carry the advice within me and live it, I don't remember exactly what it is. But I think one of the things that I have always worked with is, one of the advice I gave myself during challenging time was what I term C2O, challenges to opportunity. Every time you have a challenge, just convert it into an opportunity. And so it really helps me every time I'm challenged, whether it's physical, mentally, spiritual. I always try to look at challenges as if I can get around this, I can be at another level.
Well, there's one particular one, but you know, and actually too is my father-in-law who said it to me. And he always saying, you know, say, Rebbe, walk for nothing better than sit down for nothing. And I a number of times that I'm at home and I get up and go somewhere or do some things. A deal come up or something happens where you can advance yourself in life. So, you know, sometimes in the sense that in Jamaican terms, you know, don't sit around. If you can maybe go somewhere with somebody that you're not going to make any money, but something can happen in your favor. If you don't have health, you know, you make yourself comfortable, but not extravagant.
Wealth means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but the first thing that comes to my mind when I hear about wealth is wisdom. I think wealth is wisdom because if you have money and you have no wisdom, you can easily lose it. So, you know, in the Bible, Solomon's gift was wisdom, and with wisdom you can earn a lot of money. So that's one thing. But wealth also engages how you use your money, what you use it for. And to me, wealth is not necessarily material. Wealth is about being able to do the things you would like to do, but also to make other people's life more comfortable. So many times you would love to be able to help people more, but you say, oh boy, you don't have the cash to do it. I'd love to be able to have enough cash to help people as I go along, to make my life comfortable naturally, and to be able to have a more meaningful workplace for my employees in terms of their well-being. So that's what wealth means to me.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange wishes to help to develop the social sector. To that end, they have formed the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, which is a safe, efficient, and transparent platform that aims to promote social projects that build Jamaica and will inure to the benefit of all persons living in the country.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange is a company that encourages and mobilizes capital for the main market. And that is the market that is not the social sector. Now, the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange is really geared towards the social sector to help to solve social problems in the field of health, education, about children, environment. Those are some of the things that we consider social problems. And so it is to mobilize the capital, allow persons who have a desire to invest in a social good, to invest in the social stock exchange. It is designed in two parts. In phase one, where we look at social investment, and phase two, where we look at social impact investment. Now, in phase one, really what we are saying is it is donation. An organization will have a social issue and design it into a project or a program and invite Jamaicans or persons within the diaspora or the entire world to fund this program. Now in phase two, you're going to get a return on investment which is not social. You will be getting shares, natural shares, as you would get if you invested in the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And what you'll get is a return on capital, which is possibly dividend or an appreciation in that share. The Jamaica Social Stock Exchange does more than ask for the funding of these programs, but goes beyond that in terms of monitoring, ensuring that these programs are meeting the targets and the reason for them to have asked for funding in the first place. When we look at this new sector, it is important because holistically, if you do not look on the social sector, you do not improve the other sectors. We want to encourage all businesses in Jamaica to have a corporate social responsibility because it is good for encouraging and the growth and development of businesses.
are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
JAMPRO aims to increase the export of non-traditional products and of course support the development of Jamaican MSMEs. To that end, they've partnered with the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association and the Jamaica Business Development Corporation to launch the third installment of Export Max. I'm Theodore Henry for Business Access TV. Stay with us.
It is good to be here, and it's a pleasure joining you for the launch of the third iteration of this program. This morning's event is a fitting tribute to the industry players and signals a great promise for the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises and the importance that has been placed on export diversification. This launch seeks to build on the success of Exports Max 1 and 2, which together recorded over $2.2 billion in sales. Indeed, its previous success sets the stage for the implementation of this third iteration, which we are now undertaking on a much larger scale. Let me take this opportunity to commend the JAMPRO on conceptualizing and taking us this far with this program. And let's welcome our new Export Max partners, the Jamaica Business Development Corporation and the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association. With their strengths, we'll be joining forces to improve and efficiently manage and implement the program. And I'd like to thank our sponsors and future participants. You have signed up for a game-changing program that will have national impact. Jamaica has strong export potential and growing export capacity. The imperative for achieving greater export performance and thus realizing export-led growth and global competitiveness in our exports as part of the export strategy is therefore of extreme importance as we strive for national prosperity and wealth creation. In the globalized economy, it is critical that Jamaica becomes highly organized in order to be fully integrated into the world economy in a manner that allows us to elevate our position on the global value chain and supply chains. Jamaica has been standing still for too long. Standing still while our trading partners have been taking steps to implement best practices for business and trade-friendly environments. This ministry, therefore, through its agencies, is seeking to attain greater diversification in the export industry by achieving higher value addition in priority tech sectors, increasing the value of non-traditional export of goods through increased volume and higher value addition, increasing the contribution of services exports as a percentage of our overall exports, including our creative industries, and increasing penetration in existing markets and accessing new and emerging markets. Let me add to that the specifics, some specifics which I want you to implant in your minds. There are three distinct underdeveloped markets. Let me just mention what those three are. The tourism industry. Too much of the fresh and processed foods that they consume are coming in on the planes with the tourists. And we have the capacity to supply them. Second, CARICOM. 16 countries in CARICOM. All of them are net importers of food, fresh and processed. Yet, we export precious little to CARICOM, and we have the privilege of exporting it duty-free. And what's the third significant market? The Jamaican diaspora. In Canada, the United States, and England, the market is as big as Jamaica. Somebody from London told me recently that because they cannot get what they want in Jamaica, they import the stuff from Africa and slap a Jamaican label on it. Castor oil, by the way. A lot of castor oil that is now being sold internationally with the Jamaica label on it. The raw material is not from Jamaica. Unacceptable. So as government, we are committed to promoting brand Jamaica to the world, identifying new trade and investment opportunities in order to spur economic growth. My ministry will continue to work with critical stakeholders to enable them to capitalize on opportunities in the export market, as more than ever, greater focus must be placed on growing our economy through exports. One of the things that the ministry is committed to doing is changing the soft infrastructure that will support the growth of trading across borders. To this end, a few weeks ago, we launched a trade facilitation portal that will house the information about all the various processes that underpin trading across our borders. It is our vision that the trade information portal will be the central source of information that will ensure that if someone is an exporter, or even if they are dreaming about being an exporter, they need only to visit this one place that will provide them with all the knowledge they need to navigate the trading process. On the heels of this, we are also excited about the progress that we are making in implementing a single trade electronic window for the government, which will see all the various government processes integrated into a single online system that will allow for all trade-related transactions to be done online, supported by a robust risk management system to protect the country's borders and its reputation overseas. And so ExportMax is only one more prong in the government's network of activities that will allow for the framework for each and every exporter to experience success, and ultimately for us to achieve economic growth and prosperity in Jamaica.
Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about Home Sweet Home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you up to date.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
All human life is precious. Respect life. No more senseless killings. No more.
So, welcome. So let me start out by asking Dan, ExportMax, I know ExportMax started within Jampro. Why ExportMax 3 and what makes it different this time around?
Okay, thanks Claude, and good morning ladies and gentlemen. We are so excited to be here at the launch of ExportMax 3. Why are we doing ExportMax 3? It's actually one of the programs that I'm proudest of in my time at Jampro. I think that, as the minister said, export is one of our critical pieces, is critical in our lifeblood. It's in our DNA. We have to export. We're a small island nation. We have tremendous products. We need to take them to the world in a more organized, systematic way where we respect standards, we understand the adaptability of our products to market demands, where we understand the markets that we are trying to penetrate. Export Max is that program. The results that we got out of Export Max 1 and 2 show what a deliberate program can do, where you start by diagnosing what does the product need to be adapted to market demand, what evolution needs to go on in the company itself. So it's not just the product, but it's also the management that must have the right mindset to penetrate international markets. So we're identifying that demand, identifying the market trends, helping the companies to adapt their products, and that mentorship, which we brought on in Export Max 2, is a critical component, because the ones who are successful must help the ones who have not started yet or who have not yet been successful. So that was the innovation of Export Max 2. And what we decided in Export Max 3 is that to more than double the number of companies in the program, we really couldn't do it alone anymore, because Export Max is a really labor-intensive and brain-intensive project. It needs a lot of time spent hand-holding companies, explaining export to them, helping their management to be ready. So we really needed the help of our partners, and we're really, really proud and excited and energized that we have two such fantastic partners, as well as the other sponsors who have come on board, because we need more expertise, we need more hands on deck. Export is not easy. Standards in the international market are constantly becoming more critical, more difficult. So we needed partners on board who could help us to interpret some of the issues on the international market, some of the standards. You see Bureau of Standards is on board, and also to help galvanize those exporters to greater effort and to greater understanding. And then we needed the business development side that JBUC can bring to really help companies to develop their business plans, develop their loan applications, to become more formalized, develop their bookkeeping acumen. We think this is one of the most important programs that JAMPRO and the country have ever created, because we think that this is an integrated way of taking our MSMEs the next step forward. We are very excited, and we just want to have more participation from the MSME community, because sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and it's when you start on that journey of trying to understand how do I get from point A to point B that you start to realize what it is you don't know and how and where you can find help. So really this is a plea to and a stimulus and an encouragement and almost a demand of the SME sector listening to us today. You need to get on board, because this program can change your life professionally and change your export horizon.
Okay. Valerie, you decided without hesitation, came on board. Why did you see training and capacity building as such important components for exporters?
Our logo speaks for what we do, which is business development in the fulsomeness of it, and how can we help you. So we know for sure that capacity building is even beyond that thing called training. It's really getting into the nitty-gritty of the companies, the enterprises, looking at the concept, if it makes sense, whether local or external market, putting the proper structures in place, and as Dan says, formalizing the business. It means governance have to be in place. You have to know your numbers to know what stories are coming out. Worst, if you're thinking of exporting, you have to be really secure in moving forward. So we have been spending a lot of time with our client group preparing them for the market, because for us, global market is right here in Jamaica. So standards must be in place. Governance must be in place. And you must be thinking business. And I agree with Dan, we have to get over that hump of doing a little thing until some big job comes along, because it's not going to come along. So it means that we have to be innovative and we have to be on target for moving forward. We're going to be looking, as we said, as we had agreed, at all the innovative industries that have the possibilities for export. So food, niche markets, high quality, value added products, non-food, services, certainly the technology-based industries and the creative industries in all aspects have to be part of that big umbrella. Our mandate is to help them.
Right.
So even if they come and they're not ready for Export Max, it doesn't mean that they can't be in the passageway.
Okay.
So they need not hesitate. They need to come forward. If they're not in that lane, it means you're going to prepare them for whatever is appropriate. So there is no reason to sit and wonder if. You need to come forward and let us work together and see which lane you are really in. And if you happen to move into this fast track, no, that's wonderful. If not, you're on the way to preparation. Because we must export. Dan keeps saying export or that. I think we have been in coma because we're waiting to die.
When we look at the program or we look at life, we always like to say nobody born big. We all are a product of training, exposure, and experience. And you almost need all three in the right combination to be successful. So in the area of mentorship and advocacy, I think JMEA coming on board, which will have a portfolio of businesses that are already exporting, play a very important role. So I'd love to hear from you, Metri. Tell us in plain terms, how do you see the JMA supporting this effort and your decision to come on board?
Well, when I heard Diane and Valerie speak, I realized that what we have here is a perfect marriage.
Okay.
2 women and 1 man. No, I'm joking. No, seriously, what we have is a perfect marriage here. Because what we have is the JMEA that has the base of membership. Our membership base is about 400 companies, most of which and many of which are small to medium-sized companies, which is the base that we need. Then we have Valerie, who is going to do the business development process, and then Jumper, that's going to deal with the export market. What we bring to the table is a lot of hand-holding. We are about solving problems and solving issues. So they're going to have issues. There's no question about it. I think one of the ways we could say it is that we're a big brother to the companies, and we hold their hands and we walk with them through the process. We just go, Valerie will take them to a particular stage, and then we will take them from there until we're ready to hand them off to Jampro to really go and do the export. But I wanted to say that the JMEA is fully committed to this program. That's why we have joined. We recognize how important it is. And as Diane said, it is probably one of the most important initiatives that any agency in Jamaica has put in place. The numbers speak for themselves, and we hope to be a part of this process going forward for a long time to come.
How does one apply for the program? Could you give some thoughts on that?
Thank you. I was hoping you'd ask that question. We have a kiosk at the back. We have several Jampro members of our team here. We have an expression of interest form, which you can get from our team at the back. Copies of the form are also available from the various agencies and on our website. www.dobusinessjamaica.com. You can download this expression of interest form and send it in, and we will be happy to contact you and start the journey with you, because this is a journey. It's a 3-year program. This is really about helping you through a process and on a journey to success. Tell your associates, people you know who have a product or who even have an idea. They can start talking to JBDC from the idea stage. So let's create a movement that can change export.
Thank you, Dan. So I'll throw it out. Any final thoughts?
This is an example, the collaboration, the example how we in Jamaica should work together. Because no one institution or person has all the skills, all the information. And until we start putting the ego behind the door and working together, we're not going to move. So I'm celebrating from JBDC the kind of collaboration that we have agreed to have between our agencies. I think it's a good move, and we know success is down the lane.
Metri, any final
In
thoughts?
closing, I would ask everybody in this room, when you leave here today, call 5 persons that you know that are in business. Let us be oversubscribed.
Yes.
Let us have that problem. Let us reach back out to our sponsors and tell them that we need more from them, because this is good for Jamaica.
Thank you, Metri.
We have some Export Max graduates in the audience, and I think it's important not only to hear from us, but to hear from people who are actually on the program. So dare I say that Rita Hilton is on his
Yeah, they're going to be on the program. Yeah,
So Rita, Omar, I think you're all going to talk later on. So.
All right, a round of applause for the head of agencies. Thank you very much.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
The business community has suffered tremendously due to extortion. Some have not just lost their businesses, their jobs, but lost their lives. This is extremely impactful to the growth of our country and to the progress of our people. We are our brother's keeper. Let's put a stop to this. No more use of force. No more use of fear. No more extortion. No more.
I'm going to invite some past Export Max participants to speak. Rita Hilton from Carita, Jamaica, and Omar Azan, CEO of Boss Furniture. So in the spirit of ladies first, I'm going to ask Rita Hilton to come and just give a couple of remarks about her experience with Export Max.
I think this is a great opportunity. Having benefited from Export Max 2, I'd like to highlight some of the things that made it so important for me and what the results have been like. It was important for me because it allowed me to step into the Caribbean export market. Carita has been in business for 34 years, and our whole business is aligned with exports. We were primarily involved in fresh produce exports, but recently we've been adding value to Jamaican products and trying to build up that component of bringing more value to Jamaica. Now, with Export Max 2, what did I benefit from? Going into the Caribbean market, which I didn't know at all, and I have to tell you that out of that, we have one concrete market which we opened in the Bahamas. And that partner has been so impressed with our output that they have come with a proposal to invest in our company and buy equity into our company. I learned that I wasn't really completely prepared to take advantage of all the opportunities. So if you're going into Export Max 3, come with an open mind. You think you know it, you don't know it. Learn, absorb, and execute. You need to have a partner on the ground in the territory that you're going to be working with that will teach you about that market and the market needs. It's not Jamaica, and it is not the globe. It is a very special type of market, and each market has its own needs. So keep an open mind, learn from the opportunities. What was wonderful is the amount of work that Jampro put in before we went into the markets. And that was the critical success of the Export Max 2. Into every territory that we went, there were buyers available, and it wasn't the underlings that came to the market opportunities. They were high level personnel that came to talk business and to do business. The other thing that I learned so much from is the capacity building. You think you know how to run a business? Well, you don't, because the way you start is not the way you grow and keep on growing. You see all this white hair? That comes from years and years of learning. I started as a high school teacher, and our exports have reached close to $3 million US. And those are sales. That is not money to spend. That's money that you invest back in your business after you've paid the expenses. So don't think that you've achieved success and can drive a Mercedes-Benz. I still drive a pickup, okay?
I'll just say that for me, for my company, it's been an amazing experience. The team has been behind. There are times when I wasn't even up to doing some of the things, and they came and sat in my office and said, Omar, listen, we need you to get this thing done. And they would push me to do it. Today, I'll say historical. This is our first time in history that our company has receivables. Today, I checked it this morning, from 14 different countries owing me money at the end of this month to pay me, to pay my suppliers, where I think at the end of this month, I can probably pay all the suppliers I owe from just a foreign exchange earning. So that is a huge, huge, huge difference than where I was a few years ago. This is an excellent thing that JAMPRO is doing. I'll say it. You know me, I talk the truth every time I come up on the podium to speak. And, you know, we need to just get everybody behind this. Our Jamaican people, our staff in our factories, we need to push our exports to get this country going. Thank you.
I am inspired and excited this morning. And I want, on behalf of the entire team, JAMPRO, JMEA, JBDC, I just want to say thank you all for coming out and hearing this program and participating in this launch. So we're going to take you into the Caribbean, Europe, and the USA to sell your goods and services and to return with those all-important contracts and to deliver on the promise that you would have made to be a champion exporter. I expect this program will be a positive, life-changing experience for you and your businesses. So where do we go from here? The steps are very easy. We are inviting all business owners here to complete the registration expression of interest form. Following the expression of interest, you'll be required to complete a more in-depth application form. The deadline for submission will be January 30, 2019. Final selection of our participants will be done by March 15, 2019. And by April, MOUs with all the participants will be signed, and that's when the real work begins. But it will be exciting, it will be fun.
This has been the launch of Export Max 3, and I've been your host, Theodore Henry. Keep watching Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Do you want to build your company's capacity or export your products or services to new global markets? Then you can be a part of Export Max 3, an enterprise development program for Jamaican companies. Sign up today. Applications close January 31, 2019. Expand your business for export growth. Visit dobusinessjamaica.com for details. Export Max 3. Grow beyond borders. It's brought to you by JAMPRO, JMEA, and JBDC.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Delighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art, I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Nestled in the city of Montego Bay in St. James is the Open Heart Charitable Mission, which takes care of the homeless and the mentally ill.
Basically, Open Heart Charitable Mission started as a vision for myself in giving back. We came to Montego Bay because we saw the need of the homeless population and situation and the street people program. And after seeing the incident in 1990 when the street persons were trucked to St. Elizabeth and dumped, it weighed heavy on me. And so I had a vision of doing a soup kitchen in Montego Bay. And it has blossomed into more than a soup kitchen now because we have joined with the St. James Parish Council and signed a memorandum of understanding. So we kind of work together. They supply certain things and we run the program pretty much under the eyes of the Poor Relief Department and the St. James Parish Council. So we all work together, basically trying to improve the lives of the homeless and street people of St. James, Montego Bay, and also the wider Jamaica. It's very interesting with homeless people. They're well organized, as people may not think. We have had people who have come all the way from Kingston because they have heard of our organization and our program to get into our program. So, they're well organized, they communicate with one another, so they hear the type of service that we have here at Open Heart, and they come, get their meals, they get the services that we offer here, the rehabilitation program, and so they just come. We get referrals from the Poor Relief Department, referrals from the hospital, the Cornwall Regional, and so we try to service. We don't turn anybody away. If you're hungry, even if you're not homeless, we'll try and accommodate something for you, so you'll have something to eat. But we generally do not turn away anyone if they come for food and service. We have a rehabilitation program. Our program is 6 months long once you have been accepted. And it constitutes, we have a farm up in Seaford Town where we do an agricultural program. We have a farmhouse where the clients live, work there, and we try and give them a little stipend. And that program is really to get them off of the streets in a confined area under structure kind of living, because when they're on the street there's no structure, so we're trying to bring that in their lives. My message basically is that we're one blood. God created us all, right? And take an interest in the street people and homeless. Take an interest. They're Jamaicans, right? And they need help. They really do need help. The charities around Jamaica really do need help. And a lot of them are doing wonderful work, and there was a saying in Jamaica, it takes cash to care, but it doesn't really take cash to care. It takes compassion, and understand how fortunate you are to be, how blessed you are. But for the grace of God, you're not like them. And just thank God for that. And remember, it could happen to your brother, your sister, your mom, or your dad. And would you want anyone to abuse them like that if they're caught in a situation like that of being on the street? No. And so let's try and be our brother's keeper.
Karen Cameron is the office manager, and she ensures that the clients are given proper care.
Our main goal is to get as much people off the street as possible. So, and the clients look out for each other. So we get a lot of new persons every day. We see new people every day. So when we say, oh, did you hear about us? They'll say, oh, I saw a street person. They said, this is where you have to be. So they look out for each other. If we don't see somebody 2-3 days in a row, we'll say, what happened to Roy? What happened to Bob? And they'll say, oh, somebody hit him and he had to go to the hospital. So if you need to know anything about the clients, you ask a client. I think here really shows you what life is about and actually gets you to become humble. So you don't hold on to material things because we have seen that it don't last. So throughout the years, I have grown to love the people. I see them on the street. Before, honestly, I was afraid of mad people. That's what but no, you can't say mad people. They're mentally ill. So I think that actually helped me to grow as a person. So I see them on the street, they come and hug me up, and they'll be dirty, and I don't care. They come around, and I make sure that they come around and get the shower. So I feel really safe on the street now, and I see them, and I see where they're coming from, and I see where they're going. Because if you don't have a goal for them, and then tell them, this is what I see you're doing, sometimes they just need somebody to just believe in them. So usually what we do, we choose, when we see new clients, we'll say, all right, this is my project. And then we ask them, what are you interested in? And if they're interested in painting, we ask donation and tell them to come down here and paint. We go out and find jobs for them. In the bakeries, on construction sites, we talk to people and we get jobs for them. Even if it's not like permanent, we try and make sure that they're doing something. My message to people that overlook homeless on the street, open your eyes. This can be your brother, your sister, your mother, just laying on the road. So you have to open your eyes. I'm not saying you have to give them money, but even to buy a patty and a box drink, they will appreciate it. So you just have to open your eyes and see them, not just pass them and just cross the street. Just open your eyes.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
We appreciate when people come in and interact with them. I think interaction is the main thing because, as I said, people don't open their eyes and see them on the street.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
We are serious about the business of real estate, so catch Home Sweet Home Sundays at 4:30 p.m. or if you missed it, check our website at batvja.com.
The Open Heart charitable mission encourages volunteers to assist in any way possible.
We appreciate when people come in and interact with them. I think interaction is the main thing because, as I said, people don't open their eyes and see them on the street. So when they come here, they expect us to, they're looking forward to us to talk to them, find out how their night was. Something as simple as finding out how their day is going or how their night was makes a big difference to them. So we love when volunteers come here and interact with the clients.
Delroy Denton is a former client at the Open Heart Charitable Mission who now volunteers and mentors the homeless, along with Georgette McNeil, another one of several volunteers.
I heard about them through gathering information, but before you put your head in anything, you need to get as much information as possible. So when I do hear about Open Heart Charitable Mission in Montego Bay, from a friend, I decided say I should come here and investigate for myself and see what it is like. And what I did saw, I was impressed. So I decided to be a part of that, be a part of caring for people, do something charitable. Because it's not about money or getting paid. It's about helping people. Do what you can for people, the most vulnerable, those who are less unfortunate than us and stuff like that. So, yeah, I was really touched by the mission's goals and objectives.
I do everything. Yeah, I'm a round-the-clock girl. Yes, and I get involved through NODM. It's another part of our organization in Kingston. So feel some time here. Just come here and volunteer. Really, it's good because I don't make anything bothers me. Because we're all human beings, and if you're in something, you have to love it. Honestly, you have to love it. So if you see something in you or somebody you can help and assist, give them a bath, make sure they're clean, and prepare their meals and help them, have fun with them, react with them, see what they're made of. What can you do to change their day? Because some of them don't have a really good day at times, but by talking to them, they ask you a question, you can answer them, in a different form, and you don't be arrogant at them. Just be nice to them.
Sometimes when you say you can make another person smile, even when you look at their situation and their circumstances, and you see that you can make them smile, you can make them feel special, you can make them feel wanted, and you have to show them respect and love, because if it doesn't have love, you can't give it to anybody. So when you can make them smile, or you listen to them, listen to the issues that they have, the social issues, and and you can make a difference by just advising them and encouraging them. It's just a good feelings, not just for myself, but just see that smile on their face, to know that somebody can reach out to them, somebody who have been there, will know what it is like. You understand me? So I enjoy doing that, because with the Open Heart Charitable Mission, we have a mentoring system going on, and I am their mentor now. You understand me? So I'm doing a mentorship program with them. You sit with them, you talk, you even eat with them. So you make them know, say, boy, it's not them alone I eat the food. You sit down and you eat the same food that them eat. Make them know them worth something, and try to lift their self-esteem. Make them know, say, they are not worthless. All is not gone. There's still hopes. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Because some of them understand that they can listen, because if you reason with them, you come to realize how intelligent they are. Because they have good intellectual ability. But you can know that, or discover that, if you speak to them. Because if you keep shunning them away, you won't learn their fears and concern. So somebody got to do it. Somebody has to do it. Because at the end of the day, that's what God wants. Because He gives us this sense of direction. He gives us this knowledge where we can go out. You understand me? And interact with the most vulnerable in our society. Yes, all people shun them. Sometimes we get angry with them too, to be honest, and say they get so much trouble. But we still listen to them. We still feed them. They come and they want a piece of bread. They come late when food finish. They come late with everything. And even though, but we still have to, reach out to them. We still have to feed them. Because we have to look after them. That's what Open Heart Charitable Mission is about. Look after those that, vulnerable in society. When everybody turn their back at them, we can't do that. We have to listen to them and help them as much as we can under the circumstances.
As a society, you get more church come together. More business people come together. It's not about you. It's about us. Putting ourselves in their shoe and think, what may happen to me further down the line? You have to place yourself in so many different ways. So at times I think churches, groups, you just have to just put that boundary there to see what really can be done for them.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
When some of these cases comes to my attention, it really plays a great impact on me, knowing that it could be one of mine.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but 4
four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
The Open Heart Charitable Mission Refuge of Hope Night Shelter is located in Albion, where up to 50 men and 30 women are accommodated. Tamika Whitaker, the shelter manager at Refuge of Hope, oversees the day-to-day running of the shelter. She also monitors the clients at the shelter.
With persons with various personalities and so it can be a challenge. But, with training and stuff to know how to handle conflicts, etc., we care for the mentally ill, persons who are pure homeless. We have deportees from time to time, yes. And being in this organization, Institution the Refuge of Hope, we do offer a rehabilitation program, yes. So with this rehabilitation program, it does entails we do the chicken rearing. We try to get them to do life skills for reintegration and assimilation into our society. Our rehabilitation program, we do have the chicken rearing, we have sewing, we have a literacy program, and also we do art and crafts. From time to time, we do get referrals from the hospital, we get referrals from the airport. We also care for stranded international visitors. For example, an international visitor would be in Jamaica stranded, don't have enough money, etc. The immigration or the police would refer them here. They stay over until their flights schedule or whatever their situation be resolved and sorted, and then they would go out. What we also do here on a monthly basis, we do an analysis, monthly analysis, to see where a client is at. So I set up a library and encourage a client to read a book. It's important to reading, yes? So what happened, even if the ones that are not literate, and don't have that reading capacity, I encourage them to even look at a magazine. A picture can speak volumes.
The role of farm manager and social worker Cecil Cox is to ensure that everything on the farm is intact and that they produce agricultural produce, which helps to bring in income to help feed the clients both in the streets and in the shelter.
With the farm, we produce so far pigs. That's make meat for them. We presently have over 90 pigs in all now. We also have goats that we rear, and all of that goes towards feeding. Now we produce bananas, plantain, and we have a few patches of sugar cane that we also use that to give to the pigs. Sometimes the feed are low, so we can use that to help to feed the pigs. We have now put in the ground some corn, sorrel. I have a little area, a little garden around the back of this shelter. also that we produce callaloo, and I mean vegetable in general, vegetable. We rear chickens, broilers, and layers. Now also that goes to feed the clients. One thing too, we also do this as a form of rehabilitation, because these clients, they are not persons that work every person and what have you. So when we do this, they work in it for them to understand that, you know, they need to do something, and this will also help them to create job for themselves when they reach a point where they can leave the mission. When some of these cases comes to my attention, it really plays a great impact on me, knowing that it could be one of mine. And because of that, I really give sympathy to them, and somebody need to care for them. Somebody need to care for them. So because of that, sometimes their story might not add up, but there are some form of compassion you need to extend to them. So, you know, it brings a great impact on me with that, knowing that they are human also. If everybody look at, if it was me, if everybody look at if it was me, I would love somebody to have compassion and extend mercy. So I'm looking at many non-governmental persons, the churches, the government in general, and business persons can come together and just look at their lifestyle as human beings and get together and said, okay, those less fortunate children are out there, people are out there, they need something, they need somewhere, they need love. I think it would be better for society, and we'll have a better country.
I wanted to be an educator because I believe that education is the most powerful weapon that can change the world.
My dreams and aspiration is to one day become an entrepreneur where I can employ other persons and help to build the country.
I wanted to go into development. I wanted to help people become better versions of themselves. Growing up, I saw a lot of violence, I saw a lot of crime, I saw a lot of poverty. The challenges are so many. The first one that comes to mind is the level of youth unemployment that's here.
Challenges that exist here in West Prospect Bogwalk are lack of awareness for educational opportunities or job opportunities.
Not many got the chance to do CXC or graduate from the secondary level. So that's a major setback for the people in the community.
A way to alleviate this issue is training programs.
They need more opportunities, like to go back to school to get themselves a certificate so they can be able to work and create employment for themselves and their family.
Push more entrepreneurship opportunity, encourage these youths to be creative and innovative in what they do. Give them startup capital to start their business. Invest more in the youth skills and talents.
The Poverty Reduction Program is funded by the European Union, and it really is a program that focuses on the most vulnerable type of communities, making communities safer, making citizens more healthy, better access to education.
For European Union, investing in youth is an obvious choice. They are the future of the country. If we prepare them well, they will bring the change that Jamaica needs. That's why we invest in scholarships, internship, training in life skills and mentorship.
I received a tertiary scholarship from PRP to attend the University of Technology, Jamaica. It meant a lot to me because I realized that somebody else believed in me and somebody saw the potential that I have and somebody believed that I could actually achieve my goal.
I benefited by getting firstly an internship, and also they assisted my bachelor's degree financially. But critically, outside of the finances, the persons that were on the project, you know, the motivation that they provided, etc., it really provided a huge boost.
This is my third year at the MICO. This scholarship, it helped me to be able to focus only on my education here, because tertiary education is not cheap.
I was placed at ODPEM on the one-year internship program. It was really good. It was an opportunity for me to prove myself, to give myself a service, and also to gain experience in the working world, and to also provide for my family.
I plan to be an agent of change in my community by being a mentor, a leader, and a godfather for the youths growing up. Try to help them, teach them a trade.
You don't have to be rich to help. You don't have to achieve greatness to start. I contributed to my basic school by providing them with the necessary resources that they need, that I believe that in the long run, it will have a ripple effect on many, many persons.
Professionally, I manage the whole program, which is aimed at giving young persons the opportunity to, you know, do what I did, basically, to get their foot inside an organization. Additionally, I also have a little small business that I try to employ young persons to learn a skill, etc.
When you're persistent in life, when you're determined, when you're hungry for success, then you'll be able to accomplish and achieve anything that you want.
It has changed hundreds and hundreds of lives. Not just my life, my family lives, my friends' lives, etc. I want to just urge everyone looking on to continue these social programs. These are the solutions to the many ills that we face as a society and as a country and even as a world. So thank you, and I challenge you, continue it. It's needed.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Hi, I'm Chef Shay Stewart, and I'm the chef and owner of Elite Creations, a catering company in Jamaica. I started this company essentially after not really enjoying working for people and wanted to, pursue my own goals in the culinary field. I thought I had a lot to offer. I thought I was very, new, exciting. I had a lot of creative ideas, and I felt compelled to really jump off in the water to see if I would swim or, drown, as they say.
This is where the madness happens. This is the kitchen at Ibex Global. This is where we do 700 meals a day.
Elite Creations is a catering company. We do food catering. We also do bar services. And it came about essentially, I have a few family members and that put on events, namely a Philip Palmer who back then he did a party named Osmosis. And I thought that I could come on board and do some food for the VIP area that he had. And I don't know, I guess it's just one of those traits of an entrepreneur when they feel compelled to do something. And, I just went for it, and I guess the rest is history, as I say. Recently, we've expanded into doing like rentals of furniture, bistro tables. So ultimately my goal for Elite Creations is to be a multifaceted company where it's basically a one-stop shop for an event that you want to do. So we could bring in lighting, stage, trussing, TV screens, all the elements that come together to make one event. I cater to foodies, I cater to people that want to eat the best food, So from secular events as like I did Sunrise Breakfast Party, I've done the whole Dream Weekend thing in the past, to corporate events such as Sagicor staff parties, Digicel, NCB, Scotiabank. I've done a dinner for people that want to propose to their loved ones. So the list isn't really subjected to any one person. I've been on my own for probably about 6 years. I left my previous job. I was with Max Chop House. I've done stints on the hotel on the North Coast. I've been at Cafe Aubergine. And as I said, it's just the feeling of pursuing your own goals, of having growth and being accomplished, self-actualization. And one of the primary objectives I feel in my life is to be my own business owner. This is my staff, Biggs, we have O'Shane. At Countryside, we have a kitchen that we currently run a canteen where we feed approximately 700 meals a day, Sunday to Sunday. I also can operate a mobile kitchen to feed up to 2,000 people. So between the two, we kind of bounce around depending on the event, depending on the style of the execution. Also depending on the client's requests, we kind of, jump around and do what we have to do. This was currently my restaurant, Shay's at Countryside. Subsequently, the property has become into an international call center where, I'm operating a canteen now where I said I feed over 700 people a day. So it kind of fell in my lap. It's a very convenient location. It's in the heart of Half-a-Tree, and it has helped in my growth. Being an entrepreneur, you get to understand the importance of having cash flow and stuff like that. So, I currently employ over 25 people. So, I think I'm on my way to not only competing and having my own goals, but I think I'm contributing more to Jamaica. Well, funding for me was basically a step-by-step growth of me taking my time and taking one step at a time to basically build myself. I haven't really gotten any funding from any outside persons, so everything I have is basically what I've done thus far and building a solid foundation to kind of grow step by step. The money was initially used to buy the essential equipment that I would need at any given time. So what my philosophy is, for every event that I do, I must can at least buy one piece of equipment, for me to move on and further expand what I have. So whether it's a spoon to a, you know, a convection oven, to a fryer, to, you know, having a truck to move around. You know, everything has its place, everything has its importance to, you know, growing your business. Profitability is definitely there. With every business, you know, I've experienced ups and downs. You know, I think my first reason of being in this business is the love and the passion. I mean, a lot of the times, you know, you feel to give up because you feel like the amount of work that you put in, you're not making enough money. But I really love and enjoy what I do. I'm very passionate about it, and my philosophy is put in the good work and the love, and the money would always come. You know what I mean? So I've been very blessed. I've been on my own for 6 years, and you know, in a very tight economy, a very competitive economy, but I've still been able to keep my head above water. So, you know, I give thanks for that. I would love to think that my staff, you know, love to work with me and think I'm a good boss. But I think how my rapport with my staff, it's very family. You know, they're my family, and I view them as a family. As a chef, you know, I'm not gonna say that I'm not very miserable, I'm cranky. I mean, but they understand it's the job. You know, I just want the job to be done, and I can be very, you know, as I said, very cranky, very edgy, but I have a good relationship with my family. Everybody plays a role, and I think they appreciate what I've done for them, because I definitely show them their appreciation, because without a solid team, you know, you can't reach anywhere. So my staff is the most important asset to my business. From one person working with me, you know, bringing in somebody else, you know, I've looked at places like Hart, because I'm a Hart graduate also. I looked at places like, you know, UTech. I use a lot of UTech people. And it's just working and having people come in and out, and just who I connect with is who I tend to keep around. You know, I go with a vibe and an energy, and see how eager they are to learn. If they're not eager to learn, then I'm not interested, because they also have to have their need for growth, you know, and that is important to me. I think the culture is very, as I said, family oriented. It's very, you know, it's a big emphasis on teamwork. And I think we're all hard workers. As I said, I try to, you know, employ people that have their own ambitions. You know, I have to remember that I started working with someone too, you know, and I was very fortunate that none of them tried to hold me back. Ask any chef out there, the hours of work is long, 16 hours, 18, you know, easily. If I have an event, I'll go days without sleep. Like literally last weekend with whole Big Wall and, you know, breakfast party. I did something for Panjam, and it was back to back to back, including having the canteen. It can be very, very, very tedious. I'll go Smyrna Dream Weekend, Appleton Dream Weekend, the whole weekend, 2 parties a day. It's very tolling on the body, but then you have to remember that you have to find that time to take care of yourself also. So that's really very important. So my average day is a long day of work. Being an entrepreneur has, you know, really affected, you know, finding time for yourself, you know, and you know, even for your family. It's been very difficult, but you really have to try and find that time, and you have to, you know, I've been fortunate, like, again, that my family really supports what I do, you know what I mean? They're fully behind me. I feel sometimes like they're there just to help me, you know what I mean? So, you know, you just have to touch and go and find what works for you. You know, take a little time, do a little gym exercise, you know, make sure you eat breakfast in the morning, make sure if you have a child that those little time, those little moments, make sure that they count, you know, and if you have a significant other, you just have to have a balance and have a routine for each other to kind of know that, okay, when all said and done, at the end of the day, we can enjoy ourselves.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Delighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life runs art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, were nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Alright, so this is where we serve our packaged lunches to the call center agents. So today we're doing traditional Jamaican food, roast chicken, stew peas, fried chicken. The challenges that I've faced primarily has to do with the economy really and how much business that I'm able to acquire. We also do sandwiches and fries and stuff and deli items for those who are on a break and they don't want the heavy lunch. My challenges are really tied with how much I feel that I need to grow, basically. So, if I don't feel that I'm growing as much as I think I should be, my aspirations and my goals, if they're not being accomplished on my timeline, I kind of beat myself up sometimes. But, you just have to push on through and really have a tunnel vision. I tell everybody that yes, I know I have competition, but not to say that I don't worry about them, but my core thing is to just do what I am set out to do, and I think everything else will fall in place. Being new in the industry is also a challenge sometimes. People don't have the confidence to really say, okay, can Shay do this? I remember even my own cousin was like, asked me repeatedly, Shay, you sure you can manage it, Shay? And I had to prove myself. A lot of young entrepreneurs, a lot of people in the workforce that are just that, will definitely have those challenges. And you just have to make sure that every time you do it to the best of your ability. The worst opportunity could be your last opportunity. I cannot, as a chef, lapse any at all. If I have one event and somebody is sick, that could be my last. So every opportunity has to be treated as the last opportunity. So you have to do it to the best of your ability. But preventing mistakes, I think one step ahead. Before an event, I think of everything that can go wrong and I think of a solution, even before it goes wrong. So I know that when it goes wrong, I have a solution for it. And I'm very keen to knowing that, okay, something may go wrong. I'm never take things for granted. And another thing that is very important in managing mistakes is allocating a lot of time. So, as I say, what can go wrong will go wrong. So if I need to be somewhere logistically an hour before, I go 2.5 hours before because I know that time will help me overcome any mistake that I may buck up on. Failures has definitely been an enemy of mine. I mean, I think any business person has to go through a certain amount of failures to be successful. It is very crucial because it's a learning experience. And and it goes back to what I said about time. That was a big learning experience for me where I had an event in country and I was doing breakfast, lunch and dinner for this family fun. It was a business fun day, and I did not allocate enough time, and I reached late, start off bad, and it was just like a snowball from there. And that has taught me that I have to not take time for granted, and it's very important not to take time for granted. New ideas generally come to me. Sometimes I just find some time for myself and I just think and I just wonder, and it's like they're just sent to me. I mean, I think that's one of my, talents, that I'm always thinking of something new, something exciting, something different that I can do to kind of keep myself relevant, because that's very, very important in this industry with so many competition. Always trying to reinvent yourself, always try to do something new, always try to keep a fresh perspective and keep that passion alive is very important. Building a successful customer base is very, very important for my industry. Having repeat clientele is also, very, very important. It's very important for you to do the job good or do the job right, because that's how you build your customer base. You want them to always believe in you. you want them to feel that, okay, I hired Shay, so I don't need to worry about that. You know, the job is done. And that is because, you know, I take my job seriously. So I make no mistakes, or if I do make more mistakes, my client doesn't know about it because I know the next best thing to kind of overcome that mistake. So, you know, having your client believe in you and know that if they hire you, the job is done, and the job is done better than anybody they think they can do, is very important in, you know, building a successful client base. Growth strategies has definitely been on my mind, and that's one of the reasons why I've taken a step to become multifaceted, not only rely on my culinary abilities, but also see, you know, what aspects of the different events that I may come and cater to, what can I bring to the table also. So, you know, being able to, I can do the food, but yeah, let me do your bar too. You know, I can do your bar, but let me rent you the glasses. You know, I can rent you the glasses, but how about some lighting? So stuff like that, being multifaceted is definitely a very important thing for me, and having something tangible, you know, like, as opposed to not letting my company rely solely on my talents, you know, having something that I can offer other than my cooking, you know, expertise, or even me, you know, have someone being able to execute something for me, which is where I'm kind of transitioning to become now. Marketing my business, you know, I have a publicist, you know, Joni. She really helps me. I definitely come up with the ideas and have someone try to execute it for me. You know, what I try to focus on is being a chef, you know, and because that's my strength. So marketing my business is, you know, I have a team of people that try and market me, whether it's entering a competition or, you know, an expo, or, you know, the whole social media aspect, you know, having a fan page on Facebook, you know, doing advertisement, making appearances. It's a very competitive market, so there are many ways that you can market yourself, and, you know, we try to dabble in everything. You know, even being on the show is an act of marketing, you know, so thank you guys for approaching me and thing, yeah. So, you know, you have to be on your toe points, and you have to always push yourself out there and make sure you're being seen, you know, and that's very important. I wouldn't say I'm willing to do anything to be successful, but I know I'll work as hard as I can, you know, in terms of not overexerting myself in terms of work. I think there's no limit to that. And I have to be very careful because, I mean, you know, sometimes the long hours, you know, it takes a toll on your health and stuff like that. And I know any chef can agree that they have the worst diet in the world. They don't eat properly, they don't sleep properly. I mean, being a chef is a really hard job. You're in hot and cold. And I think we do things that the normal person wouldn't probably think that we do, but it's a part of the job, and you have to live with it. And we work where people play, you understand? So I think I've done a lot, you know, to say that, you know, maybe the average person wouldn't do to try and reach where I am. I don't think there's one pattern or one formula, but I think you may have your own formula, you know, what works for you. I don't think what works for me works for someone else. I think I have my own pattern, I have my own formula. My own is hard work and dedication and passion. That's my formula. Everything is led with passion. It's not essentially about the money, the success, the fame, but with my hard work, passion, you know, the money, the success, and fame will come. And I think that's my formula, you know what I mean? So that's what I live by, that's what I rule by, hence my mantra is food is love. My goal is my goal, you know what I mean? Achieving my goals, you know, living my dream, you know. One of my benchmarks for success is making my mother proud, you know, and, you know, I'd hope to do that, you know. So when I can say to my mother, you know, don't work, you know, that's success for me. My greatest fear is overall failure. You know, whatever, I mean, you know, just not reaching. You will fail along the way, but the overall failure of not reaching your accomplishments is my greatest fear. And I overcome that by keep on pushing, never giving up, always believing, because you have to believe to achieve. You know, if you don't believe in yourself, then the vision is blurry. You know, and have your vision, know your goals, and always work hard for it. And you know, don't tell anybody that you can't. Don't watch somebody else and say how them reach this and you not reach this. So it's just you. You know, you have to do what you have to do.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Motivation comes from wanting to have a solid future. Motivation comes from wanting to stop working hard and enjoying your future. You know, motivation comes from, you know, wanting to set a solid foundation for my son. You know, motivation comes from, you know, wanting to make my family proud. You know, motivation comes from being happy. So, yeah, I find my motivation all around me. Motivation comes from wanting to make your country better, you know. Like one of the things that I hate to do is drive on the road and see somebody begging. Like, I hate that. Like, why? You know what I mean? So, if I can help somebody because of my success, that's a part of my motivation. My greatest inspiration, you know, is obvious, is my mother. I mean, you know, I love her to death. She has really, I mean, I've never, and it might sound cliche, but I've never seen anybody that's so supportive. You know, my mother has supported me. You know, she suggested that I should go to Heart Runaway Bay and become a chef. You know, when I did an associate's degree and I couldn't find a job, and you know, I mean, nothing bothers her. You know, she's behind me 100%. You know, she corrects me when she knows I'm doing stupidity. You know, she guides me. You know, she's a friend. You know what I mean? So my mother is my main source of happiness. You know, I really love my mother. My favorite aspect of being an entrepreneur is not having the limitations. You know, being able to express yourself, being able to do what you want to do or do what you need to do to achieve certain things. You know, setting your own goals, employing people, helping people. You know, that's what I love about being an entrepreneur. Some people think that, okay, you know, you can set your own time and you can go on vacation when you want, but I think it's even harder. I think being an entrepreneur is harder than working for someone when you have a set pay and you know how things are going to run and you can schedule. And, you know, being an entrepreneur, you have to be on your toes. You have to expect the unexpected, you know, and I live for that. Some of my successes, I attribute it to, you know, again, the hard work and dedication, my support base, my family, my staff. You know, I have a great team behind me. Yeah, so something as simple as having, you know, the contract to be a concession for the call center, having my, you know, my food event called Bachelor Chef. I don't think I'm satisfied. You know, I want more. I've never reached my goal. My goal is, you know, to be bigger than I am today. You know, so it's a continual growth. So satisfaction hasn't been reached as yet. You know, I want more, as I said. But I give thanks, you know, and I appreciate where I am today. I know it's a lot of hard work, and I know that I have a foundation, you know, and that's what is important to me. So I know at the end of the day, I always have something, and I have a goal, and I have a talent that I can rely on. My hobby is a football, man. You know, I love to play football with my friends. You know, I try to do that at least twice a week. You know, just chilling, you know, spending time with my son, with my family. You know, I need to have more hobbies, I think, because I need to find more time for myself. But you know, I have a few hobbies. I like to play dominoes. I like to go out. I actually like to go to parties because I'm normally working at parties. So yeah, that's some of my hobbies. I think my life is so entwined and tied to my career that I think everything positive with my career is happiness for me. So for right now, it's my goals, you know what I mean? It's ambition, it's reaching where I want to be, and that brings happiness to me. You know, when my son smiles too, happiness. When my mom's happy, happiness. You know, my family's happiness, you know. So the ultimate happiness is when I see what all my hard work has paid off to be. A lot of sacrifices have been made. I mean, you know, as simple as not being able to spend as much time as I want with my family, with my friends also, you know. I mean, at one point I started when I was 19, you know, so, you know, when my friends would go out and enjoy it, I had to be working because I know where I wanted to be. You know, as I said, you know, I've had in the past where, you know, family members would pass and I can't go to a funeral, or I can't go to my brethren's wedding, or, you know, I can't even vacation. I have a sister that lives in New York and I would go every year, you know. All of that has been omitted out of my life, you know, because of my career. But, you know, I love what I do, so I think the sacrifices were well deserved, and I know I'm doing it now that I can enjoy my life later. Future plans for my company, as I said before, I think sky is the limit. I want to, you know, go into more things. I'm really passionate now about, you know, the whole rental business. You know, a lot of events need, you know, different furnitures, you know, the whole screens and stuff. I also have a musical background. My father is a producer and a sound engineer, so, you know, I've been dabbling in a little music, artist management, stuff like that. I have a passion for music. I think it's in my blood also, and I think there is a stark, well, not a stark, but there's a great comparison with music and food. You know, you have different instruments that come together to make one sound. You have different ingredients in a pot that come together to make one dish. You know, you kind of have to balance all the different ingredients. So I have a real passion for music now too, and I think someday I would want to, you know, express that passion, you know, and when I'm allowed to, because as I said before, becoming multifaceted and having a tangible product as opposed to just my product, I'll be able to express myself in other mediums. My advice for young people wanting to come into my industry or the culinary industry, whether as a chef, pastry chef, food and beverage management, is to really, you know, have a goal and stay focused, be committed, be prepared to put in a lot of hard work and dedication. But one of the most important things is to be eager to want to learn, you know. Don't be closed-minded, you know. There's always somebody out there that can teach you something, and you have to be willing to make those sacrifices. But just be dedicated and committed to what you want to do, and never give up, and never let anyone tell you that you can't do something, you know what I mean? And find that inspiration in something. Find a role model, you know, look up to someone and have a direct path with someone that you want to be like. There's nothing wrong with wanting to emulate somebody. You can emulate them and then put your own feeling and twist to it.